mark down. Well, are we there? Okay. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance this morning. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to the May 4th, 2015 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair of the Board of County Commissioners, also representing District 2. Joining me today is Commissioner Bob Archer, representing District 3.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Shelley Bueller, representing District 1.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, before we begin, there's been a request to pull items E2. And there's a motion by Commissioner Cook to remove that item.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook to remove the item E2, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? And that item will be removed. Now, first item.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
Are there any questions or discussion regarding the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion by Commissioner Archer to approve the consent agenda, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? And that is approved 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business A, county clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Vouchers are totaling $483,076.52. In those, including our health insurance, $190,608.15. Holding accounts with the state, $87,155.12. And the district coroner, $52,240.33, among others. Also noted by Betty Greiner, Department of Administrative Services, $1,810 for the school district mail-in ballots. And those, she notes that those will be kept separate for reporting purposes. So I have no questions on the vouchers. I move approval.
There's been a motion by Commissioner Bueller for approval of the vouchers.
I'll second. I did have some questions about the state grants, but Betty's answered all those questions. So I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor say aye. Opposed? The motion is passed 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll make a motion to approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? And that it passes 3-0. Next item.
Item B, Sheriff's Office. Number 1, consider approval of request to have the auto mechanic supervisor position reactivated and subsequently reclassified to an auto mechanic 2 position at a salary including benefits of $43,361.
Good morning, Commission. Herman Jones, Sheriff, Shawnee County here. What you have before you is just bringing to your attention that this was a result of our, if you recall, a few years or so too, we had the early retirement program, and one of our supervisor at that particular time took part in that, and it's played its course, and it's time to put someone in again, and we've just been kind of muddling through with the 2 mechanics that we have, and obviously with this position right here, it puts us back into operations where we're feasible.
Sheriff, this is within your budget to have this?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Are there any questions regarding this item? Commissioner Archer.
I don't have any questions, particularly on this, and I understand that we really don't have any jurisdiction, or we can't veto this. So
this would just be an acknowledgement.
Right, an acknowledgement.
So.
But I would ask you, Sheriff, are we making progress? Are we making progress
On
crime in Shawnee County?
I would assume so, yes, sir. Because the last, we've been putting our numbers out in Safe Streets here recently there, and it's just showing that we've got a decrease in those type of things right there. Obviously, it's been very task-oriented in certain things that we're looking at in certain pockets right there, but obviously, with the shortage that we have right there, it's been very arduous, as I would say, but our folks are very dedicated to doing their job with that.
Would you send me a copy of the reports
Sure.
that we've done for Safe Streets? I'd appreciate it because I haven't seen those.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I think we have it online or so. We can put those on there.
Perfect,
Okay.
perfect. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
I would like to add that I'd like to bring this out because of the, what we've been trying to do with the emphasis of trying to save money. With the early retirement program, the county saw a savings over this duration of about $135,000.
Very good. Thank you, Sheriff. Any other questions?
Just a question that, it is to reactivate and reclassify.
Right.
So I think the county commission does have that ability, and so, you do not have that ability, do you?
What we had right here was the individual that went through the early retirement. One of the employees was pushed up to the supervisory. Now we're just trying to put into a mechanic 2 to fill the slot that he's
I think
left
part of
vacant.
that agreement was that it had to come back to the county
Right.
commissioners for approval, so
Yeah.
just want to point that out. Okay, all right, thanks.
So-
I'll move approval
Or
of the
acknowledge.
request. Actually, I'm going to look to Jim Crowell on this because I think we do have to approve, but I'm not an attorney.
Well, I'm only half one now, but good morning. Given that I've just found out about this item this morning, I would appreciate it if we could possibly defer this one meeting so that I can take a look at
Okay.
this issue. I know of what you are
Speaking of.
referring to, and I believe we did have an agreement on this issue. Perhaps the county counselor knows a little bit more about that agreement than I do.
We'll trade a half attorney for a full attorney.
Probably a good idea.
We did this program in 2012, and as part of that agreement, the sheriff, of course, was an elected official. In order to do the ERIP with elected officials, we had to have an individual contract with the employee, which we did here. However, there was no length of term when we could reactivate the position. So it was silent as to that, and that was 3 years ago. Now, we do get into a bit of a quandary when it's an elected official. They have the authority to spend the money in their budget, and there's nothing we can say about it. However, on the back end, we take care of all of the human resource and the payroll and things like that. So if you would vote no on this, we'd be in a real pickle. So I don't know, if you did nothing, if you just acknowledged it, we could go in and then go ahead and make everything work the right way. And of course, obviously, if you voted yes, we would do the same thing. So this is one of those areas, because of the way Kansas statutes are set up, that it puts people in a real bind when one elected official and another elected body might have a disagreement.
So would the proper action be then just to acknowledge the reclassification of the employee so that it's clear that we have received it, we acknowledge it, and then the sheriff is then able to do as that he wishes?
Yeah, in the past, staff, county clerk and human resources have just gone ahead and made that happen, even without a positive vote of the county commission.
So, then, given that, Commissioner Bueller.
Yeah, I just wanted to check and make sure, so.
So you had made a motion to approve. Would you be willing to?
Amend and acknowledge.
Okay. So there's been a motion to acknowledge the reclassification by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? That motion passes 3-0. Next item.
Item B2, consider renewal of a subscription with Mitchell One for online diagnostics manual for fleet maintenance personnel with the Sheriff's Office, Public Works, and Solid Waste at a total cost of $1,608 annually.
And again, good morning. This is, what you have here is just a renewal of a fleet maintenance agreement, and this is actually a collaboration between Solid Waste, and basically it's a fleet maintenance program that we share for our the garage that we share.
Okay. And given renewal, I'll make a motion to approve the renewal.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Cook for approval of the renewal, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? And that passes 3-0. Thank you very much, Sheriff. Next item.
Item C, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-182-2015 with the Kansas Department of Transportation, allowing Shawnee County to exchange all or a portion of the county's annual allotment of federal funds, $1,293,512.44 for state funds at the exchange rate of 90% of state funds for 100% of the county's federal obligation authority for a reimbursement of $1,164,161.20 for the Southwest Urish Road north of Southwest 21st Street to Southwest 17th Street.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is the Public Works item, and this is similar to what we've done on our current project where we are widening Southwest 29th Street between Urish and Indian Hills. This would be, we want to do the same type of arrangement in which the county receives some federal funding each year that comes down from the Federal Highway Administration through KDOT into the county. Here in the past several years, KDOT implemented a plan. There were several communities that did not have the local match that was required when they used strict federal funds. So KDOT put in a program, which was a very good program in my opinion, in which those communities that could not and did not have the local match could exchange their federal funds for state funds at 90 cents on the dollar and eliminate the local match and eliminate several essentially administrative requirements that come along with federal monies. And it's our opinion that doing the exchange, we see that savings, and more so in the construction bids. So it's our recommendation that we receive authorization to exchange our federal obligation for the state funds, and with the intent of using those monies for the improvement of Southwest Urish between 17th and 21st Street. And that project, as of now, is scheduled to begin in 2017.
Okay.
So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
And Tom, just to again highlight that you're planning on doing the construction on Southwest Urish Road between 17th and 21st in 2017.
Correct.
And so we're 2 years out. Again, we talk about projects that take 2 years to get to that point. We're in the design planning phase at this point, or where do we stand?
Yeah, actually, we plan ours out 3 years in advance, in which you do your preliminary engineering, and then you get that information to the utilities, so the utilities can start, or then we start acquiring right-of-way. And then once we have right-of-way acquired, then we get that to the utility company, so then they can move their utilities a year in advance of the construction, and then that last year, then we start construction. So, so yeah, our typical planning is a three-year schedule.
Other questions for Commissioner Archer?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Tom, when is Urish from 21st to 29th Street going to be addressed? I mean, that's a lot more traveled than, north from 21st to 17th. It's in a lot worse shape, in my opinion. When is that going to be addressed?
I cannot answer that because that section of roadway is under the jurisdiction of the city.
Okay.
As far as I know, I'm not aware of any plans, but I do agree that is a very important stretch of road, and hopefully it's sooner than later, because it's connecting 29th to 21st and then going on further north is a pretty heavily traveled corridor.
Okay.
And so hopefully it'll be soon, but I can't answer that.
Yeah, I think that needs to be addressed. Would you talk to Doug, Whitaker?
Whitaker,
Yeah,
yes.
Doug Whitaker, and report back if you would. I'd like to know what the city's plans are
I do,
regarding that area. It's in bad condition, and we're looking at perhaps putting an aquatic center there and park, and I'd just like to know what the city has plans, and it may need to be coordinated with Parks and Rec.
And hopefully, and I assume that they're thinking the same thing, and hopefully they have the same feeling towards that section of roadway. But I know when Wanamaker, between 29th and 37th was constructed, they used their federal obligation to do that project. And I think they exchanged it for state funds. And I don't know, because I can't say for certain if they've used any of those funds recently, but hopefully that could be an avenue that they could use, where they could exchange federal funds for state funds and hopefully have enough to do that corridor.
Okay.
I agree with you, that is a heavily traveled, and it will be even more so in the future.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It needs to be addressed. So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Bueller, any? Is there any other discussion regarding the request for the exchange of federal funds? I'll make a motion to approve the request to exchange the federal funds for state funds.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Next item.
Item C2, consider approval of request to create and fill an Office Assistant 2 position at a salary including benefits of $33,646.
Commissioners, Tom Block again with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a solid waste item. And back when we started the curbside recycling, we had a need for quite a bit of additional administrative support. And at that time, instead of just hiring someone, requesting to hire someone full-time and maybe having maybe too much staff, elected to go the route of having someone intermittent and part-time to feel out and see how that would help, because our existing staff was having quite a number of overtime hours, which was starting to wear on them. While in the past couple of years, we've determined that having an intermittent staff member doesn't quite cut it as far as the number of hours we need. Additionally, it's hard to keep an intermittent person and temporary person on staff because those positions don't come with benefits. So I think I've come to the realization that we really need to have an additional full-time staff member that in that position. And as I recall, I think I added this into the 2015 budget to actually add this position. I can't say that for certain, and I forgot to look at it before I had come down today, but pretty sure I had added that into my 15 budget for the solid waste department. But so anyway, if approved, the salary for this position, including benefits, would be $33,646. Again, which comes from the solid waste account, which is a enterprise fund, which means there's no tax dollars involved. So if there's any questions regarding this item, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Are there questions regarding the request to create a new Office Assistant 2 position?
I have none.
Commissioner Archer.
Yeah, I'm going to vote no on this. Currently, our Betty Griner is working with our HR department to study our capacity, our capability, and our compensation plans for employees of Shawnee County and our scope of work. And until that's completed and we look forward, I can't support a new position to be created in any department within Shawnee County. So I will be voting no, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Did you make a motion for?
I will
Okay.
make a motion, yes.
I am going to second, and I'm going to vote for it. And the reason, while I believe that we need to have those staffing levels, and I agree with you, Commissioner Archer, that is key and critical, I do look at this as a little bit differently. Being an enterprise fund, it is not the general tax dollars that support this, but rather it is supported by the users. And so I do look at it as being a little bit different than the rest of our employees, but I do agree with you that this is a key and critical juncture for Shawnee County to look at salaries, staffing, and what the needs of the county are. But Commissioner Bueller.
I'll just add, but it sounds like the reason I'm voting for it is that they've done an experiment basically with an intermittent employee. You've realized that that's not the best way to go forward, and so I trust your ability to manage your department, and that's why I'm voting for it.
Okay.
Correct.
Motion by Commissioner Bueller for approval, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposing?
No.
Motion passes 2-1.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Item D, Health Agency, number 1, consider approval of request to close operations of the Community Health Center on Wednesday, August 26, 2015, to conduct a staff training with Coleman Associates at the Topeka Shawnee County Public Library at a cost of $9,260 and to be paid by the Quality Improvement Award from the Health Resources and Services Administration.
Good morning, Commissioners. Alice Weingartner, Health Agency. As noted in the request, we do need approval in order to change our operational hours, and that's why this request is coming before you. The opportunity to provide this level of staff training at no cost to the county because of the grant award that the Community Health Center received comes around very infrequently. And so this is an excellent opportunity to provide professional staff development with the focus on customer service, how we can best use data to make decisions, and again, to continue to improve patient care, the cost of patient care, and the quality of the patient care. So if you have any other questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Other questions regarding this item? Alice, I do have, and maybe you can, again, help me out. I anticipate that at some point I'll be asked, why did we agree to spend $9,000 and close the health center when we're contemplating going to with another entity or not having a health center in a year? Why would we spend the money on the training if we're getting out of the healthcare business?
Well, I think, one, it's important to note that this is funding that was received based on the quality of work that the staff that we currently have is provided. So they're being recognized for that quality of work. So this becomes an opportunity for us, again, to help them enhance their skills. As we look at a different operational model, I anticipate that many of those staff will move into whatever that next operation is, and we're just giving them the opportunity, again, to become better employees.
Any other questions regarding this item?
Just the question, and the 9,260 is not, it's a grant, correct?
That is
It's
correct.
not-
It is the
It's
grant,
not
it was the
county
Quality
general fund
Improvement
money at
Awards
this
grant,
time.
correct. Yeah, the total award that we received was just over $38,000, and so this is one of the aspects of the funding, of how we want to use the funding.
But at the same time, we do have to look at it, it's still tax dollars, it's still, even though it may not be Shawnee County's tax dollars, it's still tax dollars that we all pay into.
I agree.
That is correct.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And that's why I said it's not county general fund money, it is taxpayer money.
So,
Agreed, but these dollars are set aside for training, and for training those individuals then who work with our constituents, so
That is correct.
I will move approval.
motion by Commissioner Bueller for approval. I will second. Seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item.
Item E, Administrative Services. Number 1, consider approval of request to issue a request for quotations for uniform services.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. We are requesting your approval to issue a request for quotations for uniform services, and also to request to convene a multi-departmental committee to review those and then to make a recommendation to you on which bid to accept. We currently have 2 companies that we deal with uniforms, and what we'd like to do is get all of the departments together, one person from each department that uses these uniforms, and really try to get to one contract for the whole county that we believe will be the best for the county.
And so, Betty, just to make sure that we're clear, rather than Public Works negotiate their contract, Parks and Recreation negotiate their contract, the Health Agency negotiate their contract, anybody who's not an elected official, or maybe an elected official who agrees to participate,
Yes, correct.
we're trying to get the best deal for the whole county.
That is the goal, yes, and to bring the parties together that need to discuss that, because, some departments have a little different needs, so if we can bring them all together, get that all together in one bid process, and then have the committee discuss the different bids so that we can get the best one for the county.
Okay. Any other questions?
All right, I'd just like to thank Betty for her continuing efforts to save money for taxpayers. It is really appreciated, and I'll make a motion to approve the request.
There's been a motion by Commissioner Archer for approval.
I'll second, but I want to do add that you already had one meeting of at least one representative from each department, and is that a result of that meeting?
Yes, and I would also like to say that our county clerk, Cindy Beck, is the one that really brought this to my attention and said, this is coming up, can we get this process started? So it's been a joint effort between our offices, and now we want to bring in all the departments. And yes, we've had one meeting. I thought it was a very successful meeting, and we'll
Okay.
continue.
Yes, second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Madam Clerk, for helping that along. Next item.
Thank you.
Item E2 has been pulled. Item F, corrections. Number 1, consider approval to award bid with advanced Coatings, Inc., to resurface multiple showers within the Adult and Juvenile Detention Center at a cost of $396,700.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Department of Corrections. Earlier, the department was approved by the commission to go out and solicit bids for the resurfacing and basically renovating of our showers that we have done our RFP. We've received 2 bids. We are going with the lowest bid, which we believe also we believe it is the most responsible. They have done our showers in the past, which is Advanced Coatings. We did involve the facilities director to come over earlier to take a tour of our facility to see the uniqueness of the facility and the technology and the things that we have, and also I think that he would agree that they need to be done. Again, this was awarded in part of the COP plan that was approved earlier in February, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions regarding this expenditure?
Motion to approve.
Motion by
I'll
Commissioner Archer.
second. I do have a question. Brian, what was the estimate for the project?
We were
before got
allotted
final?
400,000, so this does
Okay,
come
so
in
it
below
does-
that, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
So, motion by Commissioner Archer for approval, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications. Number 1, recognition of upcoming major community-wide events for the month of May, Parks and Recreation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. That time of year, can't hardly believe it's May and the summer is right around the corner. But we do have several programs and opening of facilities at the end of the month. We have a couple preschool special events. Touch a Truck program is at the Gage Park, Blaisdell Parking on May 7th. From 10 to 11:30. It gives the kids an opportunity to come out and see trucks, fire trucks, major equipment. They can climb on them. We have many of our daycare centers and local preschools take advantage of this day. It's very popular. We also have a preschool track and field meet. This is our 5th annual meet on May 13th at Shawnee North at 6 p.m. Again, we have around 70 participants that little kids take place in this. Everybody leaves a winner. It's very popular for the grandparents to come out to watch their grandchildren run. It's a very fun event. We have the Lake Shawnee Marina that will be open weekends actually just started this past weekend, May 2nd, and be open daily starting May 23rd, and that's from noon till 8 o'clock. We have the day camps will begin on May 26th, right after Memorial Weekend. We have over 400 youth will be attending per week at all our camps throughout Shawnee County. I'm biased, but I think we have the best programs out there. We have a little of everything. We have our major camps. We have cool summer programs, camps that are that are a little lower price for the inner city children. So we offer a little bit of everything for just about any child that needs that. We still have openings in a few of them, so if they are interested, they can call our administration office. We have the mini train and carousel will open daily on May 18th. As you're aware, we opened spring break week for the first time, and we've had a lot of success. The weather's been great. I was out at Gage Park this past weekend, and no place to park, which is a good sign. There's people using our trains and our facilities. Also, all of our aquatic centers will be opening May 23rd, the start of Memorial Weekend. So come out. Hopefully the weather will continue to warm up and it'll be a great weekend. Any other questions?
No.
All right, thank you, Rand.
Actually,
you.
Randy, it says noon for the aquatic center's opening. Is it noon or
Pardon?
what time?
Yes, noon on all of them.
On all of them?
Mhm.
And is that for the entire season, noon?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. We have now reached that part of the meeting where it's administrative communications. Any persons that want to address the commission have the ability to do so. I would just ask that when you do, please state your name so that we can make that recorded for the record. let's kind of go from there.
I'm J.R. Campbell. I am a member of the Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, appointed by my city commissioner. I have a copy of the bylaws. The bylaws state that we have monthly meetings. We've not had a monthly meeting since May of last year. I have sent an email to John asking when we're going to have a next meeting. No email has come back. In that correspondence of emails, there have been several people, I don't know whether they've been shared with you, but some people are for the board to continue. Some thinks, no, it does not need to continue. So I wanted to just bring this to your attention and leave it in your hands.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Commissioner?
Well, the only thing I would say is, and thank you for bringing that to our attention. When Commissioner Bueller and I worked on the consolidation of Parks and Rec, we saw the advisory board as a transition going to where we had a master plan to address Parks and Rec on a long-term basis. So that was my impression, and I think if we're going to have an advisory group, it probably does need to be reinvented and in conjunction and integrated with the master plan that we adopted. So, Mr. Campbell, that's my view, and maybe Commissioner Bueller has a different view. But again, it was my view that it was a transitional organization to help us with the transition to the consolidation. But now that we have a master plan, we need to revisit what that board will be doing in the future. So, thank you,
And if I
Mr.
may,
Chair.
And actually, in those emails, JR, I think we have been seeing those as well, and I believe John Knight has been contemplating exactly what you said, reworking that, but that has not come to us yet. And so I don't think that's fully developed yet, but I know there is discussion on how that transition may happen, but yeah.
And I know it's a combination of city and county
Correct.
working together,
Right,
Right.
where you guys each had 3 appointees.
right.
Each council district in the city had 1
One.
appointee, so
Right.
there was 15 of us. Several of us have talked and wondered why we haven't had meetings. So I just decided I'd like to bring it to your attention, and we can go from there.
Right. And thank you for bringing it to our attention. As it's been commented, I know that I've also spoken with John Knight about the role of the advisory board and maybe even envisioning something similar to the Expo Center Advisory Board, where the projects are going through that board for vetting, for approval, and so that there's to assist the commissioners and the city council members to have the larger voice in these operations. But I know that we'll be working with John as he brings those forward. But thank you very much. Any other, is there anybody else that's wanting to speak? All right.
Everybody's looking at me. My name is Jason, last name's Simonson, E-N at the end. I'm one of the 2 gentlemen that helped bring this hockey team to town that we're looking at pushing out of town. I've grown accustomed to the quality of life here in Kansas. I decided to stay here after being divorced, and mostly based on the atmosphere, the people, the culture. I grew up in North Dakota, so I'm a hockey fan, obviously. When we knew that the Tarantulas, the 3rd debacle run at the Expo Center by SMG out of town, was folding up at Christmas, Mr. Kline and myself put together a workbook and recruited this franchise to relocate from Santa Fe. It was homegrown. It may have been blue stamped or stamped by the county and by SMG, but it was done by the group of fans that want to see hockey continue here in the capital city. We have players here today, kids moving on, going to the top colleges in the country, and I think it's a shame, not only for them, but also for the youth, to lose a quality of life situation presented by Shawnee County and by the Kansas Expo Center. And originally, everything that I can find on the complex, since I grew up in North Dakota, I've been here 17 years now, shows that that facility was built as a quality of life facility. It wasn't made originally to make money. It was the fairgrounds. It was for people to come, visit, spend tax dollars in the capital city, and do things such as that. I just wanted to mention that. I'm sure there's some other people here that are interested in saying some more. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Samantha Chamberlain. The Runners are more than just an amateur hockey team. They're much, much more to my family. The first game my family went to was the night that State Street was invited to perform the national anthem, and my daughter performed, so we went. I was expecting it to be like every other sporting event, but the experience that I got that night was unimaginable. The team was great. The excitement of the game was unmeasurable. The players engaged with all the students, and Reggie was all about the kids. Since that game, I've saved money to go to the games. As a single mother of 3, it's something I can give my kids. Their faces light up every time it's game night. Several years ago, there was a special during the playoff games, and I got their grandfather to go. He's hooked now, too. That's something that they share every weekend together. We count down the days until game day. It's all about Runner Nation. Runner Nation is a family, a place we all gather, a place where the worries of the week melt away, a place to share the joys and the sorrows, the successes and defeats. Together we watch an incredible organization. The dedication of these young athletes is incredible. Please consider keeping Topeka Roadrunners in Topeka.
Thank you. Oh, you're fine. We're in no rush.
My name is Charles Clearwater. I am the grandfather. And yes, when I started going to the Roadrunner games with my grandchildren, I was in a wheelchair. It was to be permanent. They've got me up on my feet. I have been retired for several years. I was in the healthcare field. But the Runner Nation the team presents more than just a sporting event. They're at the schools. They're out in the community. They visit with younger children. They portray a role model in sportsmanship that I was totally appalled at a Royals game yesterday because of sportsmanship. Professional athletes being paid for their services. These boys aren't being paid. They're working toward scholarships to further their education. I'm not sure whether the problem lies with SMG, your management company of the facility, or whether it's within your control to do something with it. However, I hope that something is done. I know that SMG's contract is going to be up soon. I have done some research. But I would like to see the runners stay in Topeka. It provides family entertainment, affordable cost, but it also supports young men that are going out and trying to turn some of the problem children of this community around and get them back on track toward being productive in life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Charles Gallagher. I'm also for keeping the Roadrunner organization here. In 2008, I contracted a fungal meningitis that attacked my brain and almost killed me twice. The Roadrunner organization, we got tickets while I was in the hospital for free from the school for my kids to go. They went to the game with the grandparents and my spouse, and they loved it. And when I got out of the hospital, we went back in, and we haven't missed a game since. Beyond that, the Roadrunner organization saw that I was having troubles coping because I had the meningitis that attacked my brain, did a lot of damage. I lost a lot of memory, and I couldn't function very well. And they took me in, let me volunteer at first, and helped me out along those lines, and eventually hired me. So I'm an employee with the Roadrunners too. and my kids play youth hockey. So for me, it's everything. I mean, it's more than just a sporting community, it's family. And to take it away would be heartbreaking for our community and for my family. So we're begging you, please, do something to keep the organization, keep hockey in Topeka, because there is a need for it. The youth program, the adult program, the NAHL, the NA3HL, there's all kinds of need. So let's try to keep it, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings. My name is Arch Ecker. I'm the radio broadcaster for the Roadrunners franchise. I've been the voice of the Roadrunners for 9 years, including their last year in Santa Fe prior to relocating here. In fact, I drove the U-Hauls to help move the team here. So I've been a part of it since the beginning. I've been involved in junior hockey for 19 seasons. I think that the passion of Roadrunner Nation is evident, and I don't think anyone questions that. I mean, the display of it is right here in your room. I know that when you make your decisions, dollars and cents obviously tend to trump passion. But before you make your final decisions, I would encourage you to consider that there have been economic studies done about the impact of junior hockey on the communities in which they reside. And depending on the team and the community, they're upwards of $1 million to $5 million, and just some of the ones annually that I've seen in my recent research. So you can look at, in microcosm, you can look at the Expo Center and how the Roadrunners affect this particular building, but you should also, in my opinion, consider the breadth of impact that this franchise has on the county and area at large. So we appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go Runners.
Morning, Commissioners. Vince Berry. I serve as the scheduling director for TYHA, Topeka Youth Hockey Association. I'm also an assistant coach for our Pee Wee team, the 11 and 12-year-olds, and an avid hockey fan, as well as many people in this room. Again, I think we've talked about the passion of the Roadrunner Nation. We've talked about it's good to see Cam here this morning. You know, it's nice to see an organization that's done as well as it is over these seasons. Very successful in placing, and our billet program for the Roadrunners have been good. You know, I believe 10 Division I commitments this year from the Roadrunners as well. Primarily, though, and again, having a tenant hockey team at the Expo Center is just instrumental for the youth program here. Kind of the history of that. My son and grandson both play in the organization. Recently, within the last year or two, I know that the county had, due to budgetary constraints, had canceled their Learn to Play hockey program. We had kind of picked that up, and so we've been taking that on as well. We currently play out of Kansas City and St. Joe, and we play our home games here, which we feel is one of the best facilities in the league for us. It's great that we have the Roadrunners and the Capitals at our disposal. They come out, they give of their time to the kids, and they've always been forthcoming in trying to be able to help us. Attendance has been, I believe Topeka has a very solid, passionate fan base. We were 6th in attendance this year in the NAHL. Very solid. Almost a little under 70,000 people attended games this year. For TYHA, a little bit about our numbers. We have about 100 kids that play across age groups from anywhere from 5 to 14. We don't have a high school team yet, but again, as we've built ourselves back up from losing previous teams, we're at a position now where we're poised perhaps to be able to include a high school team for it to represent the city of Topeka, hopefully coming soon. So again, that's something that we aspire to do as well. This year, because of scheduling, we spent approximately $18,000 to $19,000 on ice to help between ourselves, the Roadrunners, the Adult League, which is ran by the county, and some groups that do rent some ice, some private groups that rent ice. We used virtually almost every single hour of evening and weekend ice that was made available to us this year. Originally the ice came in August 28th of this year, and we were on the ice that night. We used the ice usually in hour block increments as much as we possibly could. I know the Expo Center, has a lot of different events and a lot of things being pulled up. We had to endure two different times during the season that we had blocks of 3 to 5 weeks of where no ice was made available to us. So we were forced to either have to rent ice elsewhere or play our games on the road. But again, it's a situation with seasonal ice. The Expo Center is the only current ice venue that we have made available to us locally for our kids to be able to grow and love the sport. Without a tenant team, it will be almost virtually impossible for that to continue. So again, the impacts for these kids and for everybody in this room who have kids that play hockey and have kids that enjoy watching hockey and enjoy going to these hockey games are going to be directly impacted by that. The economic benefit goes well beyond just the ice fees itself, but those are ice fees that, quite honestly, we don't want to have to take anywhere else. We don't want to have to drive all the way to Kansas City and try and contract out this ice somewhere else. We'd like to be here, and we'd like to enjoy it, watching the sport and playing the sport that we all love so much. So again, I appreciate your time today and your consideration in keeping the Roadrunners here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak?
My name is Michael Kline. I live at 1441 Southwest Lancaster. I'm in Shelley's voting block. I just want to say that no other organization has represented Topeka as well as the Topeka Roadrunner organization. They represent this town, this city, this state, from Texas to North Dakota, from Washington to New York, including Alaska. They travel well, they're very polite young men. 90% of them go on to play college hockey, and I'm going to say 95 to 96% of them go on to college. So, like I said, I just think it's a shame that we can't work something out and help these young men represent Topeka. We're not asking you to just give it away. But we are asking you to be reasonable in your negotiations with the team and just make sure that we can try to keep them. 37% a rate increase in the lease is like telling someone you don't want them. What's wrong with like 10%, 15% increase? Cover your costs at least. That's all I'm asking. Don't be unfair. Let's be fair. Let's listen to what Don Stone has to say. And he'll listen to what you have to say, and whatever you guys come up with, hopefully the Roadrunner Nation can live with. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Commissioner Bueller? Oh, actually, we do have people that were hiding in the hall. Our treasurer.
Hiding in the hall.
Hiding in the hall.
Hiding in the hall. It's a good time of year to do that. Larry Moss, Shawnee County Treasurer. The reason I'm here is to remind everyone that the second half taxes are due May the 10th. That happens to be Sunday, so now you know why I was hiding in the hall. Since that is Sunday, we will extend the due date to Monday, May the 11th. And also a reminder, if you're in Rossville, Willard, or Silver Lake, you can pay your taxes today at Rossville or next Monday.
Thank you.
And how are we,
Yes,
Mr. Chair, how are we notifying people now, Larry, that their taxes are due?
Well, they should have gotten their second half statement in
Okay.
the middle of April.
Okay,
Those statements went out. We're right on schedule.
okay.
So we're doing very well. But again, just a reminder, May is already here. It's hard to believe. And since it falls on a weekend, it'll slip up on us even more. So again, get in, avoid the rush, come in early this week.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. I just want to bring to the attention that one of our most solemn times in law enforcement is the memorial at 8 o'clock this Thursday. We'll have our local memorial at the Law Enforcement Center, and followed by that in the evening time at the state capitol. There we'll have a candlelight vigil, and then Friday at noon there will be the state law enforcement memorial services that will take place there, and a little bit after the ceremonies inside the rotunda, there'll be a ceremonial procession out to the memorial that's just located on the state grounds there on the northeast quadrant there. So,
Thank you very much for reminding us.
yeah.
Anybody else? All right.
No. I don't have any administrative communications. I just want to thank everybody for coming, and as I've said in the emails, I've tried to answer to everybody as I'm continuing to gather information and research the issue, and we'll continue to have discussions with our legal representation and go from there.
Thank you. Commissioner Archer?
Yes, and I also wanted to say thank you for coming. It's been my experience that the more you let your voice be heard on issues, the better decisions that we make. So, again, thank you for participating today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I might add, the newspaper highlighted that I had talked with Don Stone, but I don't know that that really encompasses, this isn't just a one-man show or one-person show. I know that all three commissioners, to some degree, have had input. It's good to have your voices heard. Without having input from the citizens, it makes it difficult to know what your positions are. I would encourage you to stay engaged. Maybe you can't attend every commission meeting, but phone calls, emails, letters, those things are effective and they are heard. I might also add, this is a complicated issue. It's not just something that's easily done. You have very much a passion for it. We do have complications with, we have a contractor, that being SMG, that's negotiating. So it's not directly the county negotiating with an entity. But by all means, I would encourage, as I've said before, everybody to enter into the negotiations with cool heads, to set aside any differences they may have had in the past, to set aside any hard feelings, to see if they can find a contract that is beneficial to the whole community. And I would encourage that. At the same time, sometimes contracts just can't be reached. We'll cross that as we come to it, if that so becomes the case. But at this point, I'm encouraging all parties to negotiate in good faith with each other to see if they can reach an agreement on this issue. So, Madam Clerk, our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is not a need for an executive session today. We are adjourned.
Thank goodness. Thank you.